Jordan Love has 8 interceptions this season, tied for most in the NFL. He's the first Packers player with 8 interceptions in his first 5 games of a season since Brett Favre in 2005. Love had just 11 interceptions in 17 games last season. Dan, you concerned about the interceptions for Love?
I am, and Matt LaFleur should be. I think this is the greatest challenge of Matt LaFleur's coaching career. Because this is a quarterback that is so remarkably talented. And you know that this team is capable of making a run in the playoffs. But at some point, I'm trying to do too much interceptions could cost this football team. A couple weeks ago, Jordan Love on the move. It's 3rd down and forever, dude. There's no shot of anything positive happening for this play. But you throw a pick 6, hurts your football team. You go back to this past weekend, early down play action. Jordan, the play's not there. The defense won the rep. But you're just going to backpedal, float this ball to the middle of the field, and bang, interception. You're lucky that doesn't hurt your football team. Now, there have been some bad break interceptions, no doubt about it, where he's going to throw a stick route to the bottom of the screen, and the receiver's going to slip. This is the right read and the right throw. So those are the ones you sit there and go, okay, that's not going to kill our football team. This one will. When you look at that nickel defender, there's stick at the bottom of the screen. It's outside in, Jordan. You can't force that ball to the inside. So there's bad luck. There's trying to do too much. And here's my thing with the whole situation. Hawk, you know this. He's an ultra-aggressive quarterback. Yes. But those interceptions aren't from being ultra-aggressive.
Yeah.
They're from trying to do too much, trying to YOLO ball too much. And my fear is can Matt LaFleur get him to consistently be the ultra-aggressive quarterback that helps their offense, but peel away the trying to do too much part of his game?
And you know, that is a form of aggression. And that is the problem with Jordan Love. And he has to learn to curb his appetite to rely on his incredible arm strength, his super athleticism that he can make any play.
Because you love that about him.
You do. It makes him special. The fact that he is an aggressive quarterback is why we talk about him the way that we do. Because he has a healthy amount of aggression. He has to learn to curb it. And I don't know if LaFleur does that with the scheme, but for him, he needs to separate the quarterback he is and the quarterback that the situation calls for. That's the word. Next step for him.
That's the word. Situation.
Yes.
I think it's LaFleur in his ear. Hey, situation or 3rd and long, nothing to hurt the team. Hey, 1st down, we're calling a shot. If it's not there, dump it down. You're just constantly reminding him to be situationally aware of when and when not to.
And you know he's probably doing that in his ear. Really fast, it kind of makes me think of Josh Allen. I realize different quarterbacks, but at times like trying to do a little bit.
Yeah, Josh, and Josh was like the no play is ever dead type of thing. He's got that in him. He's also got a little bit of that, well, I can make that throw. Or I can make that play.
Which maybe he can. That's the hard part, you know?
When is it going to hurt the team in a massive moment? That's the question.
We expect him to be a postseason team, and that's a big reason why.
Okay, so I love this clip by Dan Orlovsky and Andrew Hawkins. I think what they're saying is highly, highly accurate. Which is why I'm so glad Hawk kind of was like, well, that is a form of aggression. Because I was like, wait a second, am I missing something? Because this is aggression. You guys all know that I'm a mega, mega, mega fan of Jordan Love and what he will be able to do with the Green Bay Packers. And I agree, though, that this comes down to Matt LaFleur. Outside of Jordan Love just not wanting to listen to anything, which I don't believe he's that type of quarterback. I really don't. But I think he is still in the process of learning what he can and can't do. Especially because the end of last season, the dude was on such fire. It was just like he could do no wrong, quite frankly. So I think he needs to kind of continue to make some throws that are not going to be great. That he's going to try to force the ball and be too aggressive. And I think I said this in a previous video with Jordan Love, is that he is a game breaker and a game changer, but now he needs to learn how to be a game manager, which is in a way what they're saying, right? In terms of like, hey, situationally, we need to know what to do. Great quarterbacks have struggled with this. Patrick Mahomes struggled with this, right, early on in his career. And it was a lot of Andy Reid trying to reel him back. And you can see Patrick Mahomes is kind of still has his struggles with it. And I compared this as well as that when you are as great as Jordan Love and can do such amazing, extraordinary things, I compared it to like a Steph Curry, you know, in terms of like the shots and the things that he can do. The great players make some of the craziest mistakes because they can do such insane things. Lamar Jackson is a perfect example of this as well, to keep it within football. I mean, the dude can scramble and run around like crazy. And sometimes what does that mean? It means he's going to scramble. It means he's going to stiff arm a guy and run around and throw a dart into the end zone for a touchdown in one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. And other times, he's going to take a 20-yard sack. It's just kind of part of it when you're that great. Now, the key is to not take that 20-yard sack or to take that terrible interception when the game can't afford it or you can't, it's uncalled for at that moment, right? It's always trying to figure that out, which is why then I jump back to Steph Curry, and it's like, sometimes you need that logo 3, and sometimes no. That's not what the game calls. And actually, I know I'm jumping around here, but it makes sense, and I hope you follow. KD, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry both talk about this. And you see this with a lot of young basketball players and football players for that matter. You're talking about 2 of the greatest shooters ever. And they both talk about how it's important to start the game and get those easy shots. Get those easy 5-10 footers, those layups. Get going. Get the rhythm going. That they don't just step up their first shot. They're jacking up a logo 3. That's not the way how you kind of get into the flow of the game. And you see this with young quarterbacks who want to just sling it down the field. And it's like, that's not how you get into the flow of the game. And for those of you, maybe you don't like Caitlin Clark, maybe you do. That's a huge issue in our game. She starts the game and she starts jacking up threes. She'll shoot 5 straight threes to start the game. And it's like, dude, shoot a layup. Get a runner. Get a 5-footer. Like, if Steph Curry and Kevin Durant aren't doing it, I don't care how good you are. Neither should you. And I see in the same thing with Jordan Love. It's get into this rhythm. And that will be a song and dance between Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. So, in terms of like, is this a problem? It's not a problem, but it's problematic, if that makes sense, right? If something is a problem, it's almost like it's unsolvable, right? It's a sin, but Jordan Love isn't a sinner, would be a better way to put it, right? So it's like you have to figure out, how can you start to minimize this? How can you start to balance it? How can you understand to help him understand when it's time to take those chances versus not, right? Because you do love to see when your quarterback is aggressive, but you don't want your quarterback to be reckless. But sometimes when aggression doesn't work, it's reckless, right? It's the outcome of it is reckless. So it's a dance. It really, really is. It's an absolute dance. And this is something that other quarterbacks have gone through. And again, this is why I keep comparing it to like a Steph Curry or KD and some of these other guys, because once upon a time, Steph takes a shot and everyone's like, oh my God, this is the worst shot ever. But then he keeps making it and you're like, all right, this is a great shot for Steph. And I think that's the kind of situation that Jordan Love is in, because the dude can make any play out there. I mean, it's insane. So it's just part of figuring it out of when you can and can't do and when you need or don't need to do. Right? Like, that's why I keep saying it's a dance. It's a delicate dance that sometimes he's going to get right, sometimes he's going to get wrong. And you're going to probably have to just live with it a little bit. And I think he'll grow and mature and evolve. Remember, he only had his 1 year as a starter last season. It was a little bit of a rough start. We don't have to get into. I know Packers fans don't always love that point of the conversation. He then ripped through and was just amazing, dominant, right? His first playoff game, he was unstoppable, right? And when you're a young quarterback like that, those are the things that are going to happen. You're going to start to really believe I can do anything. And like I talk about this all the time. Quarterbacks need to be humbled. Anybody needs to be humbled. You need to be smacked in the face. You need to have, bad moments. You need to have interceptions. He needs to throw a couple interceptions and have his team get mad at him and be like, bro, stop. Right? For him to be like, okay, I need to chill. Right? Sometimes it's not enough just for the coaching staff. And I'm not saying that the team or the coach staff needs to yell at him, right? I'm not saying anything like that. But sometimes he needs to feel sometimes like he made a mistake. I'm making a mistake. I'm messing up. I need to be smarter. I need to grow. I need to evolve. Sometimes you need that. And to me, that's probably what this season is going to be his main teaching, right? I feel like most quarterbacks, again, most players really, you're always learning. I reference this plenty too. Tom Brady continued to say, 10 plus years, he was still learning. He was still learning what defenses were going to throw at him. right? So that just is what it is. I mean, so I think him having this problem is a good problem to have because it's solvable, because it can be reduced. It can be minimized by not only himself, but also Matt LaFleur. I don't think Jordan Love is just this insane, reckless, know-it-all, conceited, unintelligent quarterback. I think he's the opposite of all those things. So in my view, it's actually a good problem to have because it's much easier to bring a quarterback down a little bit than try to have to get him to go. They talk about that in almost any sport, any profession, any type of personality, right? It's so much harder to get that fire from someone, but it's a lot easier to bring him back. So I think the Green Bay Packers are honestly in a good place, and I think Jordan Love is in a great place. I think he's going to continue to evolve, get better. Matt LaFleur is also going to continue to evolve, not only individually as a coach, but also with his relationship with Jordan Love, right? He's going to start to have a better and deeper understanding because last season was all about exploring, right? Because they really had no idea what was going on. It really is just an exploratory process. Yeah, you can go off practices and week to week in games, but it's just an exploratory process. Then you have the off season going into this season where you can finally really prepare much more deeply because now you really have some games on film and you really are going to understand who your quarterback is more and more. And again, though, that is still evolving. It's still evolving who Jordan Love is. Maybe Matt LaFleur thought, okay, Jordan Love is great at A, B, and C, but not so much D. And then this season he realizes, actually, he's not as good at B, but he's a lot better at D than I thought, right? It's this constant feeling out process. So just because he's no longer a first-year starter, just because Matt LaFleur has been around the block once or twice, it doesn't mean that you're still not going to have growing pains, quite frankly, right? There's a reason why more often than not, you don't have a quarterback who just gets in the league, hits the ground running, and just dominates from this point forward, right? There's growing pains. There was growing pains with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, right? There still is with all of those quarterbacks. So I just keep kind of emphasizing that because I fear, and I don't think Dan Orlovsky or Hawk or anyone did this, but I just fear that sometimes the conversation when talking about, when criticizing, or I don't even want to say criticizing, but just discussing, critiquing a quarterback as young as Jordan Love, it just derails so easily into, I told you he's overrated. They shouldn't have paid him. This was a mistake. And it's I get inundated with those comments. And so that's why I'm so strongly no, let's calm down, let's chill, let's relax. And I still have PTSD from oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. Rex Ryan, I think, where he was I told you, he was literally I told you Jordan Love's not good. I told you 30 years of coaching, I could tell, I could see it. And it's okay. And that, it's those are the things that just drive me up the wall, honestly. So, I think Jordan Love is going to continue to ball out, continue to grow, and, is apparently going to prove a lot of people wrong because it's, to my surprise, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, he's got a lot of doubters. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the idea that Jordan Love is doing too much, as Dan Orlovsky put it? And what can he go from here? Do you think it's more on Jordan? Do you think it's more on Matt LaFleur? Do you think it's more of just kind of unfortunate circumstances with a slip here and there? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.